So welcome to our class this morning, therapeutic class, and all weekend watching the leaves fall from the trees and the beautiful colors that evolved over the weekend, and it was absolutely stunning. And if you're watching this later on a replay, it's end of September and absolutely beautiful outside. But the fall is always a time of kind of going inward, letting go, and renewal, right? And we need to be able to let go of what no longer serves us in order to make room for what's new, for new growth. And that's exactly what the trees are reminding us right now, that they become so beautiful and so lush, and then the leaves drop and they release what they no longer need. That release actually becomes compost for new growth. And then in the spring, the trees are ready to bring their grandeur back to life in a new way. And that sense of renewal is part of our human condition as well, only we tend to kind of hold on and resist change. So today we'll focus on that physical letting go, working with the breath and using that as a metaphor for releasing whatever it is that no longer serves us. You know, whether it's furniture that's, I've got this old futon over here I want to get rid of, but you know, whether it's a piece of furniture you want to get rid of, or whether it's a way that you respond or react to something that you want to release and move through. But whatever it is, we can use the metaphor of the trees. They don't hold on. They don't try to keep those leaves. They realize there's nothing to be gained here, and they just let them go. So we can find some of that energy today in our practice. So we'll start seated. If you have a chair, you can sit on your chair, as I have here. If you prefer, you can sit on the floor. So if you joined me last week, either live or on the replay, you might remember that we did a particular breath technique that's a kind of a soothing, calming breath technique called Shitali breath. And it's where we breathe in through either the rolled tongue. If I come a little closer to the camera again, it's like this. Or if you can't do that with your tongue, you're going to bring your tongue behind your teeth and breathe in the sides of your tongue, okay? And then the movement is we breathe in through the tongue, lifting the head, and then breathe out through the nose as we lower the head. And you want to be cautious that you're not really bringing your head way back. It's more like lifting it to about neutral or chin slightly higher, so the back of the neck stays long. And then as we exhale, the chin comes down toward the chest, wherever it's comfortable. So take a moment to find a comfortable seat if you haven't already. And let's take a few normal breaths before we begin to check in. Notice how your body's feeling this morning. Tuning into the rhythm of your natural breath. And know that if the breathing technique that we're doing today feels awkward or uncomfortable or feels like a strain for you, you'll just breathe normally through this exercise. So whenever we strain with the breath, it's totally counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve, which is a relaxation in the nervous system. So when we start to strain, the nervous system responds thinking that there's some kind of threat and brings us to a more stressed place. So never straining. So you can start with the chin down and then either tongue to the front of the teeth or curling the tongue. You'll inhale through the mouth, lifting. And then exhale through the nose as you lower. We'll do several breaths together like this at whatever pace is comfortable for you. And then let's add a little cat-cow movement. So we'll inhale, little arch in the back, exhale, rounding the back. Same pattern with the breath. And you can either stay with that or you can add an arm lift. So breathing in, lifting the arms, exhale, arms come down, rounding again. Same breath technique as long as that's feeling comfortable for you. Right, last one. And then lifting back up to a neutral spine. Let the arms come down to your sides. And make your hands into gentle fists and lift the shoulders up, breathing in. And then exhale, release and stretch the fingertips toward the ground. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach down. You can breathe through your nose for this one. If it's not possible to breathe through your nose, of course, you're going to breathe through your mouth. Let's do a few rotations. Right. And then let's take the arms out to the sides, palms turn up towards the ceiling, reaching the fingertips out to the sides, fingers spread wide. And then do some circles here for your wrists. Circling one way and then going the other way. Okay, and then palms up towards the ceiling and lifting the arms. You can bend the elbows if you like, bringing the hands together. And bringing the hand down toward the heart, pressing the palms gently together, feeling some stretch into the forearms. And we'll do some rotations here, so palms down, backs of the hands come together. You're going to roll the fingers in and offer out, letting go or releasing what you no longer need, what no longer serves you, whatever that is. Maybe you have something in particular in mind, or perhaps it's just a general intention. And what that does is leaves room for bringing the hands back in, around, and back to the heart. So receiving whatever comes in when we make space. Right, so hands down, backs the hands together, and like we're offering or releasing or letting go of what we no longer need. And that gives space to invite in what's new, what's nourishing, what feels just right and good. Let's do that again. And coming back to the heart again, a little pressure, lifting through the crown of the head. And then taking the arms, lifting up. And again, with that sense of letting go, releasing as we bring the arms down, bringing the hands back together, and again, lifting. And letting the exhale symbolize that releasing, softening. And then bringing the hands back onto the thighs. And this time we'll lift the arms straight up from the front, breathing in. As you exhale, allow your body to move forward from the hips, letting the head come down towards the ground. And then you'll inhale and lift again. Exhale, release forward. See if you can feel the breath as a metaphor for letting go of whatever doesn't serve you in any realm of your life. Releasing like the leaves, releasing what we no longer need. And you can pause there in that forward bend, either with your elbows on your thighs, hands on your thighs, or maybe chest on the legs. Arms could hang down. Try to let your head release. Take a few breaths wherever you find yourself. And let's come all the way up. Breathing in and exhale to slowly release. If you're on a chair, you can bring one hand to the seat of your chair, or the leg of your chair, whatever is accessible. And if you're on the floor, it could be fingertips on the floor beside you. If you're on a chair, you might widen your feet a little ways so that you're well stabilized. And we'll lift up one arm. And we want to keep both sit bones anchored as we reach up and over, exhaling to the side and inhaling to the center. You can either keep the arm in the air or bring it down each time. So we'll come up, breathing in, over to the side as you exhale. Center, breathing in, and exhale to the side. You want to keep your weight anchored on both sit bones so you're not kind of tipping right over. And then this time stay and reach out through your fingertips. Feel both sides of your body, so not just the side that's obviously longer, but try to lengthen up through the shortened side as well without the shoulders coming up. Breathing into that long side, longer side, we'll say. Great, and then come back to the center. Place your hands on your thighs and notice, imagine splitting yourself down the middle. Notice how one side feels compared with the other side. You feel like you're sitting a little lopsided now, but we will even things up. So again, hand to the chair. It could be the seat or the leg of the chair, or hand to the floor if you're on the ground. And we'll raise up the other arm, breathing in. And then as you exhale, lifting as you move to the side, but keeping both sit bones anchored. Coming up to the center. Again, you could lower the arm in between or continue keeping the arm up. There's a tendency to kind of twist a little forward here. So as you go to the side, you can even think of that arm that's up, the shoulder moving back on that side. And then perhaps stay for a few breaths. Again, breathing into the longer side, but not collapsing the shorter side. So, it's easy to kind of just collapse down here. You want to really think about lifting and reaching and really feeling long here. And then you'll come back up to the center. Bring your hands to your knees or your thighs. And we'll come back to the cat-cow movement, inhaling as you arch, exhaling as you round. Bringing the spine back to alignment, back to neutral after the side bending. Great. And then after your next exhalation, we'll return back to neutral again. You're taking the palms out to the sides, arms out to the sides, palms up. And then bend the elbows. And if it's comfortable, you can let the hands rest on your shoulders. If not, you might do this with your hands instead on your hips. And arms no higher than parallel to the ground. They could be even a little lower so the shoulders are relaxed. And then we're moving from the waist as you exhale, turning to one side, inhale to the center, exhale, turning to the other side. You can let your head look right around behind you. Follow your own breath rhythm. And as always, if coordinating the movement with your breath feels unnatural in any way for you, feels uncomfortable or straining at all, just breathe normally and do the movement at a comfortable pace. So you can let go or release the need to be in any perfect form, any perfect shape, and knowing that moving our body in a way that feels good is the goal here, is more than doing things in a very particular or certain way. Let's lift the arms up now, breathing in. Exhale, shoulders soften down, bring the elbows down to the sides. Take a breath in and draw the elbows back, and then bring the elbows in. You can round the back, hands together, maybe elbows together, and then lifting up, breathing in, let the heart lift. Shoulders move down, elbows down, and then exhale, coming in. And then taking the arms out to the sides again, reaching out, palms up, shoulders down, reach out, and then palms down and slowly lower. And just take a moment to let the arms hang there. Again, if you're on the ground, your fingertips may be on the ground. Check in with your shoulders, arms and hands and wrists. We've done a little bit of work. And you can let the hands come to rest on your sides again. We'll work a little bit with the neck, so turning to one side. And then a little sweep of the chin across the front of the chest. Coming up to the other side. Sweeping back. And you can go side to side like that a few times. Tuning into what you notice. And then letting the chin come down toward the front of the chest. Pause there. We'll interlace the fingers. Bring the hands to rest behind the head. Elbows in towards each other. You're not pulling on your head, just holding the hands in that position. And then gently press back with the head. Resist a little with the hands as you lift the head. Take the elbows wide, lift the heart, and let your head rest into your hands. And then as you exhale, elbows come in, upper back rounding. Inhale and lifting. A couple more like that. We'll make this the last one. And lifting up, raising the arms. You can take the palms toward the ceiling, shoulders relax, jaw relax. And then turn the palms over and slowly release the arms down. Take one knee, bring it in toward the chest. Let the back round a little bit as you bring it in. And then keep the knee there and see if you can sit up tall. And then reach your hands behind your thigh. This is a little easier in a chair than on the floor, but you can do the same thing on the floor. If you're cross-legged, one leg stays crossed, the other leg comes in, and then try moving the leg a little straighter and bend. A little straighter and bend. Right. And then taking the hand that corresponds to that leg onto the knee, sit up tall, take the leg to the side and back in. For the next one, you probably want to start by kind of rolling back. And if you're sitting on the ground, the one leg will be flat on the floor, slightly straightened, and the other ankle will come across the knee. So in a chair, it's a little more obvious, but on the floor, you can do the same thing. You lean back and come into this position. Now, the more you slump back here, the less stretch you're going to feel on that hip. So really honor what's happening in your body as you slowly come to sit upright. I'm not pressing on the leg, I'm just letting my hands rest here. And as I sit upright, I can feel the stretch through the hip. If you want more stretch, you're going to lean a little forward. And so as I lean forward, I feel the stretch more, and I'm going to turn it on and then turn it off a little. So I'm not just going to the point of tension in the stretch. I'm finding a nice stretch, finding that ease there, rocking into it, and then releasing a little, asking my body to slowly accept this stretch. Great, if you're still comfortable here, we'll stay for a few more breaths. We'll circle the ankle around. One way and the other. Great, and then bringing the knee back in for a moment, squeeze it in, and release it down. That same leg, we're going to take it, stretch it out. I don't think you can see on the screen, but I've got that leg straight with the toes pointing up. And I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to wave it one way and the other. And I'm letting that action come right from the hip, not just the ankle. So side to side. Good. And then drag that foot in so both feet are under the knees. And we'll do a few movements, cat-cow, inhaling, arching, exhaling, and rounding. Great. And then coming back to neutral, taking the other knee in. If you can kind of round back to bring the knee in, and then see if you can sit up tall, shoulders relax down. And then reaching behind the thigh and maybe moving the leg a little more straight and a little more bent. Try to keep the spine nice and long. If the legs are really tight, you might find that you have to scooch back a little to straighten the leg, or don't go quite as straight. You'll feel your thigh working a little. And then you can take the hand onto the knee and open to the side and back to center. Make sure you're breathing. There's no particular way you need to breathe here, but do breathe. Okay. And then coming back to the center, you can place the ankle over the opposite knee. For some of you, just being upright here or even slumping back, you're going to feel some stretch. You really want to honor that knee. So you want to make sure that you're not putting tension on the knee. And for some of you, this may not even be a very easy pose at all. You may need to sit back, straighten the leg that's on the ground a little more to find a position that's comfortable for you. Hopefully you can find something that works for you, and then you could rock a little forward, rock a little back to invite some ease of movement into that hip. So we're never going to the maximum and forcing our body. Really bringing kindness. One of my own personal releases and letting go is to honor my body a little more by not forcing it. That was a habit earlier in my life, and it's I always had this idea that more was better, And I've learned through injury and other experiences that sometimes backing off is much, much better than pushing the body. So if there's a place you want to stay for a few breaths that feels good, you could stay for a few breaths. But again, it's not about going as far as you can. And finding a really comfortable position, even if that's slumping back a little. Circle the ankle around. One way and the other. Great. And then leaning back to release, bring the leg in, sit up. Big breath in and then slowly release. You can lean back on your hands and stretch that leg out. And same thing, toes going one way and the other, and that action coming right from the hip. Great, and then bringing that foot in. And let's come back to the cat-cow for a few breaths. Lifting again to a neutral spine. Take the arms out to the sides again, palms forward, this time shoulders relaxed, reaching the fingers wide, reaching from fingertips to fingertips, growing the arms long. Big breath in, crossing the arms over the chest, bring the hands to opposite shoulders, let the elbows rest down, let your head come down. You can round the upper back a little bit and rock your body, moving the elbows one way and then the other, getting into that space between the shoulder blades. Right, coming back to the center, notice and remember which arm is on top. We'll open, breathing in, and then other arm comes on top, reaching for the shoulders, elbows relax down, shoulders relax down, head comes down, upper back can round a little bit, and again, you can rock a bit from side to side. Okay, and coming back to the center, lifting and opening. Good, and exhale to release. Let's come to stand up. So if you've been using a chair, you can just move it aside, but you may want to keep it handy as we work on some balance postures later. See, my mat's been occupied. So we'll take the feet a little bit apart. Bring the hands to the hips, and after sitting, we'll soften the knees and do a few rotations for the hips to get things moving. You can circle one way and then circle the other way. Great, and then bring the feet back so they're underneath the hips. Turning the palms out, lift the arms up, take a breath in. And as you exhale, soften your knees. Either bring your hands to the thighs or the shins or reach toward the ground as you exhale. And then inhale, lift all the way up. As you come forward and exhale, have the intention of letting go or releasing with your exhale. If you like, you can imagine that you're a tree. And as you come forward and your arms come down, you're symbolizing letting go of your leaves. You're releasing what no longer serves you, what you no longer need. You can hang out in that forward bend. Again, it could be elbows on your thighs or arms reaching further to the ground. Could be hands on your knees. So find the expression of this pose that feels good in your body. If possible, allow your head to release. And then we'll come all the way up, breathing in, reaching the hands together overhead, and then bringing the hands to the heart, and pausing here for a moment. Let your heel sink down into the earth. Let the crown lift towards the sky or the ceiling. And feel your breath as it is without changing it at all. And then we'll lift the arms up, breathing in. You may come into a half squat as you exhale. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your sides. Keep the heart lifting. Inhale, lift. And exhale, a little half squat. A couple more like that. Starting to invite the legs to work a little bit more. At this time, we'll have the option to stay. So if it feels okay for you, you're going to stay in that position. We're going to think about the hips moving back and the chest lifting as opposed to kind of tucking under and rounding. So more of this kind of open position, a little bit of extension in the spine rather than rounding. So see if you can find that. You can even play around here, moving the pelvis to find that lift through the tail, lift through the heart. And then we'll inhale and lift up. Exhale and release. And give it all a little shake out. So we'll try that half squat again and give you the option of making it a little more challenging if you like. There's no pressure. You can just release that if it feels good to do the easier version, by all means. So we'll come up, breathing in. Exhale, come into your half squat. So the higher you raise the arms in front of you, the more challenging the pose becomes, and the more you sink your hips. Again, same thing, more challenging. So if you want it easier, you're going to lift up a little, keep the hands braced on the sides. Couple more breaths here. And then coming all the way up. And exhaling to release. And just give it a little shake out. So here you may want the assistance of your chair again. You can use it to help balance. I'm sorry, am I disturbing you? So one hand on the chair if you feel you need it, or you can just have it handy. So take a breath in, reach up. Good. Exhale, coming to your half squat. And we'll shift the weight onto one foot, doesn't matter which, and bring the other knee up and over and sit down a little. If you can and you want to, you might tuck the toes behind your calf, but it's not a requirement. You can also bring your toes to the ground. And then from here, if it's available to you, lift the heart, lift the arms, and breathe. Good. As you lift up, try lifting the arms, lifting the leg, and releasing down. And again, you can give it a little shake, and we'll try the other side. So you're inhaling and lifting. Exhaling, half squat, maybe using the chair for balance. Shifting to the other foot. Lifting and thigh on top of thigh. Toes can be on the ground or lifted or tucked in behind if available. And then lifting, lift the knee, lift the arms, and release. Again, you can give a little shake, let that go. So we'll go back into that position, but another option this time, you can do exactly as we just did. You could go back to being on both legs if that felt more comfortable for you. And this time, rather than crossing at the knees, we can try crossing the ankle. So when you're ready, shifting the weight to one foot, or actually we'll lift up first, breathing in. Exhale, sinking down. If you want to keep your knees bent here, shift over to one side, lift the other leg, and you're either going to cross at the knees, or if it works for you, you can cross the ankle over the knee, sitting in that half squat, maybe bringing the hands together. Good, lifting the knee, lifting the arms, and release. Again, you can give a shake if that feels good. Just let go of any tension you may have brought in with that pose, and then we'll try the same thing on the other side. So you're lifting. Exhale, sinking, shifting the weight. Find your balance. Use your chair if you need to, or your wall, or whatever you've got. And then either crossing at the knee, crossing at the ankle. If your knee is bent enough on the standing leg, this leg should stay. If you're standing up more, the leg will slide down. Maybe bring the hands together. And we'll lift up and release. Great. From here, you can take both arms up, lifting up. With exhale, come forward, releasing the low back, releasing the head. Inhale and lift. Exhale, forward to release. A couple more like that. And next time you come upright, you can stay up and release the arms. So for the next one, if you've got a chair, and you might find it helpful, placing the seat of the chair towards you. You could also do this by bringing your hands to the ground. We'll do warrior pose, or to blocks if you have them. With the chair makes the pose just that much easier. So you want to have one foot close to the chair. The other foot is back behind you. Could be a foot or 2 feet, or even further if that's comfortable for you. Your hips face the chair. Your back foot is turned just enough so that your whole foot can be comfortably on the ground. And just pause for a moment. Feel your legs. So press down into the ground and squeeze up through the thighs. Feel strong here. And then as we bend the front knee, we'll lift the arms, lift the heart, keep the shoulders relaxed. And the first few rounds, we'll just lift and lower the arms. So bending the front knee as we lift the arms. And then straightening the leg as you lower the arms. A few more like that. And then you can try adding a forward bend, bringing the hands to the chair, or again, the blocks or ground, if that's accessible. You're bending the knee as you lift, breathing in, if you're coordinating breathing. And then you might move the leg a little straighter as you come forward. That part is absolutely not required. It depends on how much stretch you want to invite into the back of that front leg. And then you could stay for a few breaths. And if you've got your hands on a chair, try to lengthen your spine so you're not rounding your back here, but keeping a nice flat back, and you can bend and straighten. If your hands are on the ground, of course, your back will naturally have to round a little, and that's fine. Bending and straightening wherever you are. If there's a comfortable place that you can stay for a few breaths, feeling a bit of stretch, but not straining, you can stay there. Again, it's not the shape that you're making with your body, but that you're comfortable, that your body feels well supported. And you can relax into the stretch rather than resisting against it. When you're ready to come up, if you're still down, you'll bend the front knee. You'll lift back up to warrior one, reaching the arms up overhead, and then exhaling to release. Stepping your feet together. Pause for a moment and feel one side of your body versus the other. Feel the leg that was forward, the leg that was back. Notice the difference, if any, between the two sides now. And then when you're ready, we'll work with the other side. So you'll have the opposite foot forward, the foot that's back, slightly turned out to the side. Front leg starts straight. It's not a locked or hyperextended straight. You want to press into the legs and squeeze up, feeling strong, feeling the pressure of your feet on the ground, sinking into that pressure while pulling up on the legs to engage. And then from there, bending the front knee, inhaling, finding a lift through the heart as the arms lift, exhaling, straightening the leg and lowering the arms. And moving at your own pace. If you want to coordinate the breath and that feels right for you, you can inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Or as always, do the movement at a comfortable pace and just breathe normally. And then if you like, you can add the forward movement. So maybe the leg moves a little straighter as you go forward, maybe not. You're lifting up, breathing in, coming forward as you exhale. Again, as you come forward, you can bring your hands to a chair, or if you have them, blocks or the ground if that's accessible. And then you'll bend and move a little straighter with that front leg. So it doesn't have to become all the way straight, but moving in that direction so you just feel the stretch that's right for you. And then you'll let it go. Never forcing, never straining. And then again, you can find a position where it feels like just the right amount of stretch on the back of that leg. Pause there. If you feel yourself tensing up and resisting the stretch, bend your knee a little bit more. And if it feels better to keep bending and straightening, that's always an option as well. The dynamic movement often a little more easeful than holding a static pose. It depends on the pose, but that's generally the case. When you're ready, bending the front knee, lifting with a breath in, and then exhaling to lower the arms. Take the feet and step them together. Coming to mountain pose, so feet side by side, heels pressed down. Feel your legs engaged, slight engagement in the belly. Lift the heart, drop the shoulders, and feel the crown of the head lift. Big breath in, exhale, sink down even more into your heels. And with your exhale, have that intention of releasing whatever no longer serves you, a way of being, physical items, whatever it is that you know you no longer need, what no longer serves you, let that go. And it may just be the idea, there may be nothing specific, and that's fine too. And let's Take the arms out to the side. Big breath in. Bring the hands together. Exhale, hands to the heart. And then inhale, lift. And exhale, big circle as you come forward. Again, any amount, hands to the thighs, shins, or toward the ground. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands come together, exhale, back to the heart. Again, lifting. Big circle. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, lifting up. And please go at your own pace. If my breath is slower or faster than yours, honor your own rhythm. One more time. And back to the heart. Pause here for a moment. And if there's anything specific that you're aware of in your life that you feel that you'd like to release, there may not be. And again, it could be just the intention of whatever needs to be released can be released. If there's something specific, you could bring that into your mind. And then we'll lift up. And like the trees, releasing their leaves as you exhale, letting that go, releasing whatever it is that you may have identified, or simply the idea of letting go what needs to be let go, even if we're not conscious of what that is right now. A couple more times. Lifting that intention. Exhale and imagine leaving like the leaves from the tree. Let's come back to mountain pose. Pause for a moment. And we're going to make our way down to the ground. You can come to lie down. And I'll just try to share my space here. As you come to lie down, having the hands on the belly, knees bent, feet on the floor. And take a few breaths here, letting yourself settle till we're all down together. So take your time and just use your hands on your belly to feel any amount of breath. Could be one hand on the lower rib cage, one hand on the belly, or two hands on the belly, whatever is comfortable. And take a moment to let your body settle here. And then we'll bring one knee up in toward the chest. And bring your hands either over your shin or behind your thigh, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you like, you're also welcome to stretch the other leg straight out on the ground to see what works for you. And if you stretch the leg out on the ground, keep it active. So your thigh is drawing up, your toes point toward the ceiling. And take a few breaths here. Soften your shoulders, your neck, your face, your jaw. And then if you like, you can make some circles or any other movement with the leg that's up toward your body. So maybe taking the one hand onto that knee, circling around or moving from side to side, exploring some movement, whatever would feel good in that hip. you like, you can switch hands. So you'll bring the opposite hand to that knee and maybe roll over onto the other hip, bringing the knee across the body into a very gentle twist. And then as you come back to the center, and place that foot on the floor. And bend the other knee if you've straightened it. So both feet are on the floor. And you might find, as I'm feeling right now, my hips are a little off kilter from the twist and movement. I'm going to lift them up, coming up onto my upper back, and then lower down in a way that feels like my spine is more aligned. And then bringing the other knee in. Again, you can either reach over the shin or behind the thigh. Pausing here to feel a letting go in the hip, dropping the thigh towards the chest. Again, if it feels right for you, you might extend the other leg, toes toward the ceiling, thigh drawing up toward the